As film fans, we go to the cinema to feel. Whether it's joy, sadness, betrayal, or triumph, we look for human connections within the movies we watch. These reflections of human existence come in many forms, two of those being representation and ideology. Certain characters walk, act, and dress like people we know.
What did he say? What did he say? But a beep, but a bap, but a boop, but a beep. He wants us to send Michael.
Others struggle with concepts and ideas that have puzzled man for generations.
Let me ask you something. If the rule you followed brought you to this, of what use was the rule?
In Mario Puzo's The Godfather, the audience is introduced to a subset of American culture through the vision of director Francis Ford Coppola. Coppola, a product of Italian heritage, brought a level of authenticity that could only come from an Italian American. In the opening wedding scene, the Corleone family celebrate a marriage with traditional Italian customs and music. Coppola hired his own father to compose and perform all music played at the wedding. Memorably, there is a whole song sung fully in Italian with no translation. Yet we as the viewer understand clearly that the lyrics are a bit racy. Toward the climax of the film, there is a baptism scene in which Michael becomes godfather to his sister's child. That child was played by Coppola's own daughter. The whole scene exudes authenticity. Once again, the Italian language is spoken with no translation as the priest performs a traditional ceremony. We can hear the crying of the children and the echoing of noises inside the church. This scene is sure to connect with people familiar with Christian values and traditions. Coppola wanted this Italian-American story to be played by representatives of that community. As a result, 95% of the cast was of Italian heritage. In the Coen brothers' adaptation of No Country for Old Men, Sheriff Bell must come to grips with his own mortality while trying to apprehend a criminal named Anton Chigurh, a man he does not understand. In the final conflict between Bell and Chigurh, the sheriff must choose whether to investigate the room that Anton is hiding in, or to walk away. Entering the room would guarantee his demise at the hands of Chigurh's more modern and ruthless methods. In the end, the sheriff accepts his obsolescence and retires to let a new breed of lawmen catch this vicious killer. Chigurh himself makes for an interesting study of ideology. In this scene, Chigurh makes a bet with the clerk using the flip of a coin. If the clerk guesses correctly, he lives. If he's wrong, Chigurh will kill him. You see, Chigurh believes in fate and uses it to justify his actions. By this logic, Chigurh would not be responsible for the clerk's death because it was determined by the coin. The audience is now engaged in the philosophy of the character. They must compare Chigurh's morals to their own and come to their own conclusions about which are right. Coppola and the Coen brothers both understood that personal connections were the key to making great characters. Their ideologies and their personal identities allowed us to see a bit of ourselves in them.